Hey everybody, Brad Linder back at you with Brad Linder Creating Comics. Gonna be knocking out another one tonight with Thanos. Since Infinity War opened, everybody's been asking me about it. I thought I'd pop one out real quick and see what we could do. Maybe making a nice card out of it. So we'll see. But I'm gonna share this over with the page and the channel real quick, as always, so we can get to move on with that. And then we're gonna jump right into this thing and get it going. So there we go. Cool deal. Now, going to be on this really quick here because I'm going to want to knock this out because, like I said, it's pretty close to the midnight hour. So let's see what we can do here. Going to start right off with the mouth here. Now, this is a cross between the movie version, the current MCU, and the original comic book version, which I prefer, to be honest with you. It's just a look that I've always grown up with, and he's been around since he premiered in 1973 in Iron Man. Believe it or not, he first appeared in the comic books, which is kind of ironic that Disney selected their first wave run as the Marvel Universe to be Iron Man back in 2008, which there's a little bit of conflict of interest in that as to how it started and whatnot. But Marvel still was running they were still running everything and running it company wise back when this all started, and they were giving it all they had, with Disney backing them as the studio that did it. Iron Man and this first phase, and then they negotiated a deal because it paid off the bills. They negotiated a deal to get out clean and made a bunch of money and sold off to Disney. So, $4 billion later, this is what we have. And, I'm not knocking it. It is what it is. The mouse is taking over everything, and I prefer that it would be a different way, but whatever. Like I said, the movies are phenomenal. I'm a fan. Not a fan of too many of the books these days, though. But I can't wait to see the movie. Please, no spoilers in the comments, because I will delete them, and then I may have to scold you because of it by unfriending you if you do it, because I don't do spoilers. And yeah, unless you announce it and I'm okay with it, then please don't do that, because then I'll have to get active with a response, and I don't want to do that. So, because I've got people that don't want spoilers, and I don't blame them. And this is a culmination of 10 years, so please don't screw it up for people by being a jerk about it. I don't think any of my friends or followers would, but you never know who slips in through the cracks once in a while with these wild cards out there. So anyway, with that being said, we're all peachy and going to be knocking this out and not giving away any of the movie details. So let's not do that. But yeah, this is one that I've been excited about for a while, especially with Josh Brolin being involved as the voice of Thanos. He brings a mature presence to it that it needs, and not a lot of actors could do that. So I really like the idea of him coming in and showing out and doing his thing as Thanos. Even if the character is CGI'd, it still beats the heck out of Steppenwolf. So, even Generation 1 or Phase 1 Thanos, where he was still bright, purple, he still just graphically beats the crap out of Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf looked in the Justice League. I won't spoil it for you. He appears because he's going to be in the movie. They showed clips, and he's there. But I tell you what, man, the design, it was almost obnoxious the way they did the design for that. And I'm a fan of the Justice League movie. I liked it. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It was a fun escape, and I have no problem with that. But I just don't want to put too much into it. And like I said, I don't want to spoil the 10-year legacy that we've got going on with the MCU, which is obviously dominating better than Warner Brothers pull. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it's going to be a smash hit and continue onward. But I mean, it's sad because it's going to be the Empire Strikes Back version of the movie arc. So we're going to see people, fall off and whatnot. And I've heard and seen things from trailers and stuff, and I'm just not into spoiling that. But like I said, I know a couple of bad things are going to happen, and it's inevitable. So I'm not looking forward to that. But a lot of these characters' contracts are up, so we're going to see a lot of them move on. I do know that much, and I've foreseen that from the reviews and whatever. And we're going to have to see how it goes. I mean, I think it's going to be a great film, and if you've seen it and you spoil it for me, I will have to clobber you. So don't do that. We won't be able to be as good of friends anymore if you do that. But my prediction is that a lot of people are going to fall off of the MCU at that point, and they're going to move into the next phase. But right now, I'm very excited about the dark universe coming in the next phase that they've been hinting at, and I think that's very cool with everything going on, that we're going to get into some of this other stuff. And I'm hoping they don't mean the Dark Reign by that, because a lot of those characters really sucked. And I mean that as not as a joke. I mean that as true form. A lot of those characters that came out of the Dark Reign were horrible, and those were Avengers titles that they ran through and crossed over with the X-Men a little bit here and there, and it's just, ugh, please don't do that. So we'll have to wait and see again and see what comes out of it, because they're saying the next phase is not going to be anything like this one, and I was just like, what? Why? This one is so good. Why? They're like, we're not going to tell you. Okay, cool, whatever. Fine, I'm taking my toys and going home. Meanie. But we'll see what happens with it. I am cutting up tonight, yes, I know. And that's all right. That's all right. So, got all that going on in the wonderful world of comics. But I just found out, TV-wise, I just found out I'm going to get to see another season of one of the rare series that I actually watch. I watched The Colony. If you've never seen that thing, check it out. It's a cool show. Not that I'm promoting them, I'm not plugging anybody or anything like that, but that's one of the few things. Everybody asks me all the time what I watch, and that's one of the ones that I watch. That's cool, man. Please don't spoil it, Johnny. Please don't spoil it. So we'll see what happens. This is one of the 3 of the 17 movies that I haven't had premiere tickets to, and I was just bummed. But I didn't I didn't get my passes this time, and I was just bummed. I was like, why? And they're like, well, it's too big, we can't give up seats. Why? Why? But I was too busy when they offered them, is what it was, and I was just like, great. They offered them to me back 2 weeks ago, and I was just too busy to get to go see it. I had to get work done. And still trying to get my site live for you guys, so close to getting this thing up and running. And I'm putting in product right now as we speak. And that's what I'm doing late tonight for this week, so that I can get this thing released hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. Because I'm behind. But that is unfortunate. I had some things come up this weekend that I just could not get away from. And then it didn't ease up any. So, got to get on the ball. But, yeah, I will. I will. So close. So close. So close. So close yet so far. But, yeah, this time I just couldn't get passes because, like I said, they offered them 2 weeks out from where I was, and I had to get work done. And everybody's like, why didn't you take them? You're an idiot. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, nah, I'll just go buy a ticket like everybody else. When you live in the world of comics, you really don't. At least I don't freak out about stuff like that. When you've been so many times, it's one of those deals where it's just like, blah, you know? And you don't want to go wait through the ropes and all that mess and have to hang out with the other people that got it. And no offense to them or anything, it's just I just didn't feel like going this time because I had so much work on my plate and I had to get stuff out so you guys can see my comics instead of Marvel's. Stop shopping, Marvel, man. Get my stuff. No, Marvel's awesome. Like I said, I know I rip at them a lot, but I'm still a huge fan. I hope they get their heads out of their butts for real quick, a quick spell, and get into the next phase and start moving forward with the comic books. But I have a feeling that my prediction of Disney using the comics as a testing ground rather than using it as legitimate comics anymore is pretty much spot on. And I hate to say that, but I've seen some of the comics, especially the reboot stuff, the reversion back to the core, and all it is the MCU version of Iron Man and Captain America and this, that, and the other, and Thor coming back out from that basis, and it's just like, oh, blah, bore me to death, but whatever. So we'll see what happens with it, and hopefully they'll get their crap together and get the books out. But if they keep using them like testing ground property, then so be it, because then when my comics come out, that means I have a lot better leverage. And yes, I am full on saying that. No doubt about it. I am happy with it. And if that's the way they want to run their business, more power to them. So I just hope they get it out before they trash it to the point where people stop respecting the comics and stop buying them completely, because that would be sad if they trashed a legacy like that and just let it die. But we'll see what happens. So I'm calling it out and seeing how it happens and how it works and whatnot, and we'll see where it goes. But anyway, I hope everybody else is having a great weekend, because I know I did. Even though it was busy, I'm still having an awesome time knocking stuff out. Here we are late Sunday evening, and I am wrapping up the month of May, or April, actually, heading into May, so we can get this going with this sketchbook. And, the reason I say I'm wrapping up the month of May is because I'm already doing work that's going to come out in May, so hence the reasoning, but whatever. It's like, yeah, right, Brad, nice cover, man. No, seriously, I work months ahead, so when I say I am, I really mean I am. But still, like I said, finishing up April and getting that going so I can get into the next stage of stuff. And I'm putting in some fine lines here and then some thicker lines to pop this helmet up a little bit and make it look more like a helmet, like it's not stuck to his head. I like it to look a little more separate and like it's got a raise to it. So, like it's got a lift, like it's got a shadow under it. And the reason why is because then it gives him that three-dimensional look of that heavy, heavy brow and the Jay Leno chin that he has, you know, the big old freaking head, which that's exactly what this dude has. He has a big old freaking head. And we are knocking that out, adding some weight to him. This is going to be one of the most dynamic cards, I think, that I've done in a while, because he's got the whole presence thing going on. And this is a little more refined in comparison to what I do. It's not quite as animated. It's a little more comic book level. And that's good. That's good. That's good. We need that. It's more like my page stuff, and I like that. So I don't get to do that very often on these cards because of expediency. I have to knock them out, you know, and this way they get a little bit more weight and presence to them. And this is where I'm heading, to where I'm stopping the sketchy style and getting a little more refinement, so you guys can get that going on and get to see more stuff, because I get asked all the time if I'll do more finished stuff. And I know I did Venom as my first card in this series, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another large Venom piece. And if that's something you guys want to see, awesome. If not, then I won't do it. But I'd like to hear your feedback on it and see what you think, because I'd like to do another Venom piece and do a large one to kind of represent during the time of the movie coming up, and see where we get with that. So we'll see how it goes. He always has these dark pits around his eyes, and I'm just going to add in that heavy brow, because unless he takes his helmet off, he always has these dark pits around his eyes in the comics. And I like adding in that sunken look, because then it just adds so much weight and age to him. And he's supposed to be a vicious titan anyway. And I like putting all these, you know, little nicks and lines and stuff in. So I don't want anybody to think I'm giving him the raccoon eye effect, because that's not what the point of it is. The point of it is he's always really dark and grimacing. And out of the two, everybody seems to think Darkseid is the worst one. I was just like, Darkseid's blatantly mean. Thanos, he thinks he's saving people. He has a Jesus complex where he thinks he's saving everybody, and instead of being the humble servant of wanting to help everyone but not wanting to take on the role for thinking he's strong enough, he actually has Napoleonism and wants to jump off and go the other way psychologically and say that he is the savior of everybody and of the galaxy and beyond. And it's just, man, that's wow. That is insane thinking. So that's just nuts. But whatever, you know, the character's got to be over the top, because these characters, these heroes, are over the top, and they got to have somebody that can stand up to them and go toe to toe, and somebody that can stand up to as an opposing force, which it's been building for 10 years. So I think there's a lot to be said for that. If the culmination is a little weak, it's going to be sad. So let's not let that happen, but we shall see. I'll look over here and see what everybody's saying. Awesome. Hi, Jackie. Glad you made it. Now, this one is going to be a little more intense. As you guys can see, it's going to be a little bit different in the shading and the build-up. Because, like I said, I'm not going full-on realistic. I don't do that. But I want this one to have a little bit more of an edge than I normally do. And it's definitely going to have the weight. So I'm pulling out all the stops here and putting in the weight lines, and not just knocking it out for sake of knocking it out. It's going to be a cool piece. Really, really cool. So give him these little weird ear covers that he likes to have here. I never understood the point of that he's got these little great armor, fantastic armor, and then he's got these little cups over his ears. Strangest thing to me. I kid you not, it bothers me to no end. It's just like, wow, we'll just cover his ears with circles. Why? Why? He's got all this great armor on. He's got all this really, really cool, heavy plate armor. And these sections and segments on these things. And it is so sad to see it sitting there and nothing being done with it. So, just weird. But I'm not going to argue it because it was a Jack Kirby design. And then I think Jim Stalin had some opinions in the way it looks. I know he was writing on it for a while with a couple of things that they crossed over and whatnot. And there's just so many great talents that have been involved with this character. I'm not one to really, just because I nitpick the little ear cups doesn't mean that I have the clout to be pulling on anything else. It's just like, shut up, man, it's Thanos, leave it alone. And who gives you the right? I don't know. So we're going to pop in on these little crystals here. Make them look like crooked eyeball kind of things. Like that. Going to pop in a couple of the stones, as it were, like that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in this classic squiggle here. And I'm going to go to one side and add a little weight. And that pops it in and that gives it that edge. I know it's old school, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to pop this one in right here. Now see, he's got those going on, so it gives it that little bit of an awkwardness with the stones. And then I'll put one down here like that. Cool deal. And this gauntlet is nuts. This Infinity Stone gauntlet that he has, that power gauntlet is just crazy stuff, man. And I mean that wholeheartedly, just crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay. Now we've got him going on there. I'm going to put a little weight on this side of the fingers here, on the down side of the fingers, to give it just a little more pull and leverage. Go a little old school with it. And I don't want to do too much here because, like you guys know, that I don't want to over detail this, because then that'll take away from it and it'll look weird at that point, and I don't want to do that. So just gonna kind of black this one out and move on, where it's like a little darker. And then I'm going to do this where this pinky's tucked down. I'm going to give it a great lip right here. And then I'm going to go back up underneath, and I'm going to give it a heavy shadow underneath on the underside of the ring finger across the top of the pinky, like it's flexed up and wrapped down a little bit, so it's a little bit lower when it sits. And then I'll go up here across the top, carve in that thumb, weight that bottom edge just a little bit, weight that bottom side of that just a little, and then come across here like this. There we go. Cool deal. Now we have Thanos. Cool and deal. I got to put in his little eyeballs. You forgot to put in his pupils, man. He can't see anybody to mess with him. What's wrong with you? Cool and deal. Now I'm going to put a little ridge across his forehead here to kind of round things out just a little. And maybe I had some kind of metallic mark across here, but I decided to change it just a little. I'll let that go. Okay, cool. Now we have Thanos. Hope you guys dig this thing. I know I do. He is phenomenal. Great character, great villain, great add-on to the MCU. Finally getting to see him in action. Hopefully we're going to get to see him thump some people around and whatnot. But like I said, please don't ruin it for everybody else. Save it. Let us have the experience, and then we'll all talk about it later on. But until then, until next time, folks, this is your friendly neighborhood comic artist and digital marketing expert coming to pass with another card, and hope you guys are digging it. Have a great weekend. Have a great coming week if I don't talk to you tomorrow. As always, I'm going to sign off with this same tagline as you always know. We got this world for a little bit of time just to get the blink smidge on the radar, just a little blip, and then we need to get ready to pass it on to the next generation. So do your part. Make somebody laugh, make somebody smile, make somebody feel good today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.